Hey guys, I'm back and I'm just really quickly gonna do a book review. And I've never done a book review for the public. Like, typically when I read a book, I kind of keep track myself of whether I liked it or didn't like it and what I liked about it. Like, I write like a little paragraph because my aunt, when she comes into town, we typically switch books. So I like to tell her, like, when I recommend it, what I like. But I've never done it for the public. And, I'm going to make this really like a layperson review. It's not going to be some sort of in-depth review, but I know that a lot of you said that you'd be interested. So even though I've read all three of those books that I put in my last video, but I'm going to go over this one today. Okay, so first of all, this book is now in paperback. It was only in hardback for quite a while, and I got mine at Target, and it was 20% off. So the list price is $15 and 20% off, and I think that's a fairly good deal for like this book. It's a thorough book. It's between, I think it's like 550 pages. I've never read this author before, and how I came to read this book is my husband. He reads very different literature than I do. He reads a lot of fantasy and sci-fi, and other than like Harry Potter or Twilight books, I don't really read a lot of fantasy. I like what many call, what is it called? There's a term for it. I think it's called imaginary realism. I could try to look it up as I talk to you. But I like that type of book, and basically what that means is that it's a realistic environment like any normal fiction, but it can have a little bit of magic, or a little bit. So it's not like completely an altered world where there's like elves and witches and wizards. It's more of like this universe, this world, but they add a little bit of magical interest. I think it's called magical realism. Yeah, that's what it's called. I don't mind a book like that. I get, other than like Harry Potter or something like that, I haven't really gotten into the adult type. Like, I'll read young adult type of fantasy, but I won't read a ton of adult fantasy. So I don't know if that helps you or not. But he told me about this book, and he was like, you'll like it. Trust me, you'll like it. And he knows me pretty well and what I would or wouldn't like. And then I also heard from a few friends of mine that I would like this book. So while the back didn't exactly catch me, like, I read it and I was like, will I like it or will I not? And I'll kind of hold it here in case anyone wants to like pause and read it. I wasn't drawn in. I just wasn't sure that it was like something I would want to read. And I would say that it took about 50 pages for me to be like enthralled and not want to put it down, which normally I guess that's a reasonable amount of, pages to read to get into a book. But I remember like the first 3 or 4 chapters, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And then all of a sudden, with like right around page 50, I was like, oh my God, I can't put this down. And then I finished it within like 3 days from that. Things that I typically like about books, so I'm going to just tell you this in case you're this type of person, is I have to have chapters. I hate books that don't have chapters. Like, I read, I forget that book. There was a book I read about the apocalypse, and it was like post-apocalyptic book. I think it was called The Road, and it had no chapters, and that drove me nuts. Even though the book was good and I would recommend it, I need a stopping point, because if you don't give it to me, I'll just keep reading and reading and reading, and I have like no limitations. So this book has a lot of chapters, and it also has like parts, like here's part 2, part 3. So I like that. See all these little dark pages? Those are little sections. So I really like that, because for me it makes a quicker read, and it keeps you, wanting to read it, and there's stopping points. The best thing about this book is that I could read it and I completely felt like I was there. She is very, very good about being descriptive, vivid imagery. This book was like really, really awesome. And it has some stuff that you don't expect. It has a little bit of everything. It has romance. It has different characters and dynamics between them. It describes this fabulous night circus, you know, which the book is about, which makes you so want them to create something like that for you to like go to in real life. It was really, really good. Now, on my own personal book review list that I keep for myself on my computer, I give a book between a 1 and 5. 5 is, it's like the best thing since sliced bread, and very few books have ever gotten a 5 from me. Typically a really good book will get like a 4.5 from me, and I don't rarely give books 1s or 2s, because if I've read 100 pages of it and it hasn't caught me or made me want to read it, I just stop reading it. So I would give this book a 4.5 because of multiple things. One, because I had no expectation of it. I hate when someone tells you so much about a book and you have such high expectations and they fail. I had no expectation about it. I wasn't really 100% sold that I wanted to read it, and it completely changed my mind. It was awesome. It was a really, really good book, and I always know it's worth a 4.5 rating when I'm disappointed that it's over and that it's not part of the series, and that's how I felt by this author. I hope she writes more stuff. I don't know if she has more stuff out or not, but I really, really liked her. So I would definitely recommend this book. I thought it was awesome. The characters were great. It kept you interested. It was an easy read. It wasn't such a complex book that if you were trying to multitask, like you're reading on commercials of shows or you were reading and whatever, trying to look at something else, that it would distract you. Like you could stay on the book, and I need that in my life since I have a child, and it's not like I just have all the time in the world to read. It's like I'm reading 20 or 30 pages and then I have to put it down for a few minutes and do something and come back to it. So I would definitely recommend this. If you guys have any like specific questions, or if there's anything that I'm not telling you in a book review that you typically like to hear, I would be happy to, you know, revise my next review. But like I said, I sort of just did this as a layperson because I'm no professional book reviewer. But I would definitely check this out. 4.5 out of 5, definitely. Talk to you soon. Bye.